Alright guys, Victor Isibo here. I have some breaking news. Okay, sit tight. Okay, if you're in a car, use a seatbelt. If you are eating, stop what you're doing. Don't eat so that you don't choke on your food. This is a Binance feed publication. Okay, Fintok Ponzi actors escape with 31.6 million USDT. All right, they call them Ponzi actors because the man who claims to be their CEO under a pseudonym happens to be a well-known actor. Okay, so he's an actor in real life and he is acting as the CEO of this Fintok. And now this is a news publication of today. Okay, and you can see they said investors who fell victim of the notorious Ponzi scheme Morgan DF Fintok are now facing disappointment and anger as rumors circulate that the scheme has executed an exit fraud, leaving them empty-handed. Okay, people get really emotional when you tell them that their temporary source of income is questionable when it comes to legitimacy. They don't want to listen. They get emotional. They get defensive. They start calling you names. I mean, we just kind of shut the doors to our common sense when it comes to what we're going to eat and the money that we're going to make. And, it's really appalling, these things that happens here. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video. I'll give you my counterpunch and I'll say a few things about Fintok. Like, I've made a few videos about them, telling you how questionable and how fishy and how suspicious their entire modus operandi is all about. Then again, when you continue to read this news article on Binance, I'll leave a link to it in the description of the video so that you can go and read it in its entirety. Okay, and all the news articles I'm going to reference in this video, I'll leave their links in the description below. So when you move away from that, they say operating on the Binance Smart Chain, Fintok has bewildered investors as approximately $31.6 million was mysteriously transferred to various addresses on the Tron and Ethereum smart contract. These schemes collapse has resulted in frustration and anger amongst affected users who cannot withdraw their funds. It appears the team behind the Ponzi at Fintok has likely exit scammed with $31.6 million on the Binance Smart Chain after funds were breached to multiple addresses on Tron and Ethereum and people reported being unable to withdraw. Fintok advertised 1% daily returns and claimed to be owned by Morgan Stanley. Okay, and you know that Morgan Stanley have come out to debunk all that, Fintok, the affiliation that Fintok claimed. Morgan Stanley debunked them, and they were like, come on, don't come and stain our integrity. Okay, we don't know you, don't claim to know us. Okay, when you want to pretend to be affiliated with an established brand, you want to bask in the euphoria of the legitimacy of another brand. That is legitimacy by association. And Morgan Stanley said, no, we don't know you guys. Don't claim any affiliations. Okay, so that again was a red flag. And this news article, Binance Feed are not the only ones to carry this news. I saw it somewhere else. I saw it on msavvy.xyz that Fintok suffers $31.6 million loss by scam. And at the end of this video, we're going to talk a little about smart contracts. Okay, the same news article. Okay, the team behind Fintok, a blockchain financial platform, is suspected of being a Ponzi scheme and has defrauded people. Okay, the team behind the Fintok website, the team page on the Fintok website refers to Bobby Lambert as its CEO, when in fact he doesn't exist and is a paid actor. Earlier, the Singapore government and Morgan Stanley both issued warnings about the investment plan. Okay, Now, the entire modus operandi or the narrative of Fintok is questionable. Okay, if you're not emotional, you're not being biased, you are not motivated by stomach infrastructure, like what you want to eat. If you're intellectually mobile, you would question, the modus operandi of Fintoch. The first video I made about them, I did not really want to dwell too much or even mention the fact that their CEO was a paid actor. Okay, I talked more on the modus operandi, where you say that you're a lending platform, and if I lend, from the next day I start earning 1% returns. I mean, who would decide to borrow and pay such an exorbitant rate when all their colleagues and counterparts in the lending industry, the likes of BlockFi and the rest of them, their interest rates are lower, and it is on per annum basis? Who takes a loan and decides to be paying 2.5% interest on that loan on a daily basis, when you can take loans in bigger and more legitimate platforms and you pay as little as 10 to 5% per annum? Bars. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Who's taking the loans? And, the truth of the matter is everybody participating with Fintoch are all lenders. If there is a lending going on, trust me, bro, there should be some borrowing going on. Who are the borrowers? Okay? And then they say, okay, if you want to borrow, you have to deposit 50% of what you want to borrow as collateral. Come on. If I have 50% of what I want to borrow, do I really need to borrow? It's not adding up, is it? And, they tell you something like, oh, wow, Certik audited Fintoch and said they're fine. Let's assume that were true. Certik themselves, they are not perfect. Okay? Certik has audited a platform before, called them legitimate, and that platform defrauded people. This I'm telling you is as recently as last month. I'll show you an article that references this matter. And the company that they audited and said was okay was Unrealistic. Okay, read this article. Certik, a prominent blockchain security firm that conducts audits on smart contracts, has recently come under fire after a project they audited turned out to be flawed, draining users' funds. Okay, the project in question, Unrealistic, had a contract that allowed the deployer address to withdraw unlimited funds, leading to loss of users' assets. This incident raises questions about the effectiveness of smart contract audits and the need for heightened vigilance over DeFi. Trust me, guys, a lot of smart contracts have come and gone, and when they come, a lot of people that are promoting the platform, they begin to be under the illusion that, oh, this is decentralized. Okay, even those that designed the smart contracts, they don't have the keys to have access to the smart contracts. Monies cannot be transferred out of the smart contracts. This is, hands-free without any human intervention. Come on, that is always the narrative from the get-go. And along the line, those that created the platform, they are going to transfer out all the money, and every other person is going to be left stranded in that smart contract. And what do? They will blame it on hackers. So hackers are always blamed for the corruption and the thievery of those that are operating Ponzi schemes relating to smart contracts. Okay, so if you're interacting with Fintok, you want to update the community, tell us what's going on with your platform, and share this video with anybody who is telling you about Fintoch. Tell them that you have reason to fear that the platform might have collapsed. And of course, please subscribe to this YouTube channel, share this video, and I'll see you in the next one. I remain Victor Isibo, signing out. It's bye for now.